Shalom, Israel, shalom, shalom. This is Brother Warrior, and this is my channel, Brothers of Israel. Lord willing, this to be an edifying video through the Spirit. But I like to go over pretty much a couple precepts that explains, how to honor your mother and father. An in-depth look on, the simple law, honor thy mother and thy father, right? So first and foremost, before we start, I'll give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, who the world would just call God or Yahweh or Jehovah, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world would call Jesus Christ. Some people call him Yeshua, but we call him Yahweh Shai, and that's what he was called when he walked the earth. But with that, I'd like to bear everybody strong shalom, and let's get into it. Let's just start off by going to Exodus chapter 20 and verse number 12. And it says this: Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. So you must honor your parents, honor your father and your mother, so that you can live a long life, right? That's an important thing to do, but it doesn't just stop at that. There's many benefits to honor your mother and father. But what exactly does it mean to honor your father and your mother, right? Well, we're going to look throughout the law, and then we're going to go through, other scriptures that help prove this, right? Or go into these things. So let's go to Exodus 21 and 15. And it says this: And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. So can the man that smites his father, that hits, punches, slaps, pushes, try to hurt his father or mother, can that person just do that and just be in the right in the eyes of the Lord? No. This man must be put to death according to the moral compass of the Most High. So, and even in society, you see a lot of kids may, fight their mother and their father. A lot of kids kill their parents. And that's not a good thing in the eyes of the Lord. Even growing up, I seen a lot of my, so-called friends will fight their parents, right? But according to the law of the Most High, the man that does this, or the woman that does this, that smites his father or his mother, that person must be put to death, right? And it doesn't even go as simple as, just hitting them. It's many different things you do that doesn't show honor to your parents, right? And we can grab Deuteronomy, which explains what other things can cause a person not to honor their parents, which could then lead them to death. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 21, and you can start at verse 18. And it says this: If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him will not hearken unto them, right? So if a parent has a stubborn child that doesn't obey their words or their voice, that doesn't do the things that they command them to do throughout the house, maybe chores, things like that, this person may be on punishment. They kind of go, this punishment doesn't pertain to me, and they, go and do their own thing. There's a punishment for not following the guidelines of your parents, for not obeying your parents. And even when they chastise them, doing your own thing, there's a certain type of judgment for that, right? And verse 19 is going to explain it. Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of the city and into the gate of his place. And we all know what's going to happen here. Whenever you're brought to the elders of the city, a certain judgment is going to happen. Whether you may be stoned, you may be embarrassed in front of everybody, but some type of judgment is going to happen at the gate of the city, right? So let's keep reading. Verse 20, and they shall say unto the elders of the city, This our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard, right? So a child that, pretty much disobeys his parents, and they stubborn, and they, fight them, and they pretty much give stresses, that's a rebellious child and a drunkard and a glutton, right? And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Now this is a scare tactic for Israel. Meaning, the Most High has such a thing get put on such a platform, to scare everybody else into honoring their parents. But you don't see that in the society we live in today. You see children fighting their parents. You see young 13-year-old kids hitting their mothers, spitting on them, telling them that they hate them. You see them even killing them. So in this world, children don't have they don't have fear of their parents, and that just goes to show you that the rulers are corrupt. Because whenever the rulers of the city is corrupt, the people are going to be corrupt as well, right? And you even see that in the book of Matthew, right? Matter of fact, Matthew 15, and we can go to verse 6 or verse 5. Okay, verse 4. For God commanded, Matthew 15:4, for God commanded, saying, honor thy father and thy mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whosoever thou mightest be profited by me, and honor not his father or mother, he shall be free. Thus have you made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition. In looking at the context of this is talking about the elders of Israel, the people who would put forth judgment at the gate of the city, right? He's talking about the ones that you would go to if your child was being rebellious and was being a glutton, right, and a drunkard. You would go to the elders of the city, and they would be the ones that put out the judgment. But in the time where Christ lived, the elders of the city were the ones that were saying, look, if you give us a gift, then pretty much, you won't be punished the punishment of death, right? So he doesn't, so then in their judgment, in their rulership, they put their tradition of their elders over the commandments of God. That's why Christ says, you made the laws of God to none effect, right? So it's all about the rulers that have control over the people. Because in America, nobody tells you that it's wrong to say forget your parents, or to hate them, to want to kill them, things like that. They don't tell you those things, and that's why people are where they're at right now, right? So let's keep going. Let's go to man, if I just got one more precept in Proverbs. So actually, Proverbs chapter 29 and 2, and it says this: when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Now you should mourn at children oppressing and hurting, their elders and things of that nature. That's something to mourn about. That's not something that you should want, right? But that's something we see day in and day out, every single day in this society. Let's get to the next precept in Proverbs chapter 10, verse 1. It says this: the Proverbs of Solomon, a wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is a heaviness to the mother, right? So a wise son, a son that has wisdom, meaning a son that keeps the law, statutes, and commandments, that should be a man that makes his father happy. But a foolish son is going to make his parents heaviness of heart, right? So you want to know what type of children you are, man. You just see how you affect your parents, right? So let's keep going to Proverbs 20 and verse number 20. And it says, whoso curses his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out in obscure darkness. Now his lamp is really his fire, his light within him, his spirit. So his spirit should be put out if you curse your parents. So you don't want to be that son or that daughter that goes out cursing your parents constantly. And you see that throughout, again, in our society, whether you have children that oppress their parents. Even if you're a child, even if you have you may be a son of a parent and you may be in your 30s, you may take care of your parents because they may be old. A lot of them really go about cursing their parents. They may lock them in their bedroom for 3 days. They may starve them slowly and slowly every day, lock them in the basement, you know, not give them, hide the medication. These are all dishonorable things to do to to your parents. These are all things that you shouldn't be doing in this truth at least, right? And that comes with grave punishments, right? So many bad things that can happen to you for not simply and plainly following the laws of the Lord in just this simple law. It's going to explain. I'm actually going to grab it right now. In Sirach, because it tells you the many multitude of benefits that you have by simply showing them a level of respect and honor, right? Which, something that we all got to work on, especially in a society that doesn't esteem these things as anything to be special, right? So let's grab Sirach chapter 3 and verse 2. For the Lord hath given the father honor over the children, and hath confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons. Right? So your parents, man, they have a certain honor over you. And they have confirmed a certain authority over, your children, right? So your parents have a certain authority over you. Let's keep reading. Whoso honoreth his father maketh atonement for sins. So here's one good thing that happens to you if you honor your father. You make an atonement for your sins. Having your multitude of sins you may have put away from you and forgiven by the Most High. These things can happen just plainly simply by honoring your father, right? Verse 4. And he that honoreth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure. And another blessing you get is laying up the treasure with the Most High. If you honor your father and your mother, you have atonement for sins and you'll lay up treasure. All right, verse 5. Whoso honoreth his father shall have joy of his own children, and when he maketh his prayer, he shall be heard. So you'll be able to have joy of your own children, and your prayers will be heard. This seems like something that's leading to a life to aspire for men and women in this truth, right? To lay up treasure, to have treasure waiting for you, to have your sins atoned for, to have honor in your own children, have joy in your own children, and when you pray, to even be heard when you pray, because these are things that people plainly simply just don't have, right? Verse 6. He that honoreth his father shall have a long life, and he that is obedient unto the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother, right? Long life, joy your children, prayers being heard, treasure waiting up for you, Salakia, and atonement for sins are things that you can simply just have, simply just by honoring your parents, right? And that's something we should all aspire to do. We should all aspire to have, especially young ones in this truth, that pretty much, their main source of conflict or what may come from them rebelling against their parents. It's definitely something that you should want to practice to honor them, right? So let's keep going. Okay. He that honoreth his father shall have a long life, and he that is obedient unto the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother. Verse 7. He that feareth the Lord will honor his father, and will do service unto his parents as unto his masters. Now, that's a difficult one. A lot of people don't really get that. You got to devote a lot of time to your parents to take care of them. Because a lot of people, they think, once they get old, send them to an old folks home, send them to go out and, do their own thing. I'm going to stay here and live my life and do what's fun for me. When life isn't even about you, it's about taking care of your loved ones, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, loving the Most High, and loving your brother and your sister as yourself. All right? So let's keep reading. Honor thy father and mother, both in word and deed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them. So you must honor your parents in word and deed, meaning your works, meaning what you do for them, helping them, right? And in words, you pretty much not speaking ill of them behind their back, not going about things a certain way, not cursing them, like we read earlier. You don't want to curse your parents, and whether it's in their face or to somebody else. You don't want to, you wouldn't want to put a curse upon people that you come from, right? And I get that not every parent is the best parent, right? Let me what's the scripture? I think it's somewhere in the Ephesians, if I'm not mistaken. Salakia. Ephesians. I could be wrong. Let me see. Salakia. I'm gonna have to grab this real quick. Just bear with me. Is it Ephesians? It's not there. Let me see. Okay, here we go. This is Colossians 3:21. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 21. It says this: Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. Right? So, matter of fact, I'll just read that verse 20. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. So it's a pleasing thing in the eyes of the Lord to obey your parents in all things. Verse 21, fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. You don't want to provoke your children to anger as well, meaning a lot of times parents may do these things to children, and that may give them a bitter taste in the future, right? But, the scripture does tell you must honor your parents. That's something we should still aspire to do in word and in deed. Right, let's keep reading. For the blessing of the father establishes the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations. See that? So getting a blessing from your father, man, that can establish not only, the security that your father may have in his house, but it establishes your house in your progeny's house, in your children's house. Pretty much, right? And that's what we see throughout the scriptures, right? The blessings that Isaac gave to Jacob and to Esau. We see all the blessings that we're able to give to, fathers giving to their children all throughout the scriptures, right? And that's why, you had, let's just grab the account, right? In Genesis chapter, make sure. 27. Okay, here we go. 25. It says this, and he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank it. And his father Isaac said to him, come near now, kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field, which the Lord hath blessed. Right? Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. Right? So that's a blessing that still reigns supreme today, that we even look forward in the future. Whether it's the near future or far future, this is a blessing that Isaac gave to Jacob, that we can see that this scripture to be true, right? So let's keep reading. But the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations, right? Let's keep reading. Glory not in the dishonor of thy father, for thy father's dishonor is no glory unto thee. For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father, and a mother in dishonor is a reproach to the children. So you want to be able to gain this. You want to gain honor from your parents, so that they can only speak right of you, or good things of you, right? Verse 12. My son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth. And if his understanding fail, have patience with him, and despise him not when thou art in thy full age. So you want to always have, a good heart to your parents, even when they're old and they lose their understanding. You want to be their eyes and their ears. And that's what we see with even with Tobias, the role that he held in the household of his parents, Tobit and Anna, if I'm not mistaken, where pretty much he was the one that took care of them and helped them out, because Tobit was blind, so Tobias was literally his eyes. So when when they weren't in their full strength, their son was there to help them, right? For the relieving of thy father shall not be forgotten, and instead of sins it shall be added to build thee up, man. So you wanna have that on your resume for the Lord. You want to be able to lay up riches in the kingdom. You want to be able to have a good resume in the eyes of the Lord. In the day of thine affliction it shall be remembered, thy sins also shall melt away, as the ice in the fair warm weather, man. You want your sins to go away. You want them to melt away, because we all fall multiple times. We're gonna do as much good as possible, as many works as possible, to diminish those wicked works that we have done. Right? He that forsaketh his father is a blasphemer, and he that angereth his mother is cursed of God. So you don't want to have these things to your parents. You want to be a good help to them. You want to take care of them. You want to pretty much sacrifice the pleasures that you may have to make sure they're okay, right? And let's just grab another precept, man, because a lot of people, they may be thinking, oh yeah, I just want to live my life and want to do what I want to do. That Western philosophical mindset of making it and being your best self and doing all these fun things that really just means to drink the wine of Babylon and to follow what you believe is success. A lot of that stuff leads people astray, man. A lot of people don't even want to take care of their family. They just want to have that little bit of joy, that little bit of vain joy that they have, and not necessarily focus on the joy of taking care of their loved ones. All right, this is Sirach chapter 7 and verse 27. And it says this: honor thy father with thy whole heart, and forget not the sorrows of thy mother. Meaning, you must honor your father with your whole heart, and you cannot forget the sorrows of your mother. Meaning, this woman went through 9 months of pregnancy for you, and all the hell that she'd been through. Still, towards the end of it, all she really thought about was how happy she was to have you and to give birth to you. Now, granted, that's not the case for everybody, but that's the case for a lot of people, right? Let's keep reading. Remember that thou was begotten of them, and how canst thou recompense them the things that they have done for thee? Yeah, they could have gave birth to you and just threw you in the trash, just kind of forgot about you and left you there to die. They could have just got an abortion. They could have, because most people in these days, they get abortions right now, right? They could have done that. They could have put you up for adoption because they didn't want to burden themselves with having you. Things that are very irresponsible, right? But they chose to be there in your life. They chose to give birth to you. Now, granted, they probably wasn't perfect, but they still chose to take care of you. When most people in this world don't even believe in that. They believe in selfishness and following the lust of their flesh, right? So let me grab another precept real quick. Let's go to Sirach chapter 23. And these are all things that you should just go throughout life with and understand it. Honoring this is having this simple love puts you in such a good position in the eyes of the Lord. Now, of course, there's many other laws you got to keep, but just this law right here, as you can see, puts you really ahead of the game of a lot of people, on earth. So let's get 23 and it's 14. And it says this: remember thy father and thy mother when thou sittest among great men. Be not forgetful before them, and so by thy custom become a fool. Salaki. I'll read that again. Remember thy father and thy mother when thou sittest among great men. So wherever you go, whether you're among, your friends, where you're, out in the world doing big things for yourself, or just, living your life plain and simply, your honor, even if your parents may be gone, things like that, your honor isn't something that's just based off of when you see them or when you're around them. It's even when they're not even there, right? So you must even remember your father and your mother when you sit among great men. So when you're in a place where you could be uplifted, you could do great things, you still gotta honor your parents. You still gotta remember them and remember the laws and the statutes and the ways that they've brought you up in, right? Let's keep reading. Be not forgetful before them, and so thou by thy custom become a fool. So don't become a fool by falling away from the things that your parents taught you, but be smart and have wisdom and remember the things that they've done that kept you humble, right? And wish that thou hadst not been born, and curse the day of thy nativity. So a lot of people, you see them embarrassing themselves on TV, not necessarily following the rules their parents taught them, and not having that strong connection that they might have had, but rather wanting to compromise themselves for riches or for wealth or for fame and friends and things like that. And then at the end of it, they realize it was all nothing and curse the day of their nativity, curse the day of their birth, right? But this is just a couple of scriptures, quick video going into what honoring your parents means and why that's important. With that, I'd like to bid everybody strong shalom. Lord willing, everybody is growing mighty in his faith and continues to grow in his faith in these last days. Call Yahweh, Bashem Mashiach Malak Yoshai. Shalom.